If you don't want to get, then don't bring your kids. Yeah, I'd whoever. I mean, if it's kids, women, men, anybody, just shoot them. They're going to stop coming over.
Well, that escalated quickly. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, your home for independent and nonpartisan commentary and analysis on politics, media, internet culture, and more. Yeah, we're going to be checking in with the world of streaming, which is a super normal and sane place. And in particular, we're going to be talking about Asmongold, who is a super popular streamer that also dips his toes into politics with, not a neatly red-blue perspective, but more of a right-wing bent on a lot of things. And he's just been banned. The super popular streamer has just been banned from Twitch for a rant about illegal immigration that got weirdly violent. And so we're going to unpack the controversy and what people are saying about it. And if there's a double standard here, of course, with Twitch infamously being pretty gentle and treating Hassan Piker, the leftist streamer who's incited and encouraged violence many times and openly endorsed terror organizations, is there a double standard at play here? What exactly did Asmongold say? And I'll give you my thoughts on it all. We're going to unpack the whole thing, so buckle up. And without further ado, the context here is about the wave of migrants that surged into Spanish territory, Moroccan migrants. It's a whole international news story. Asmongold went pretty far with his take on it, basically suggesting they should start shooting children. Let's listen.
Always, this is emotional blackmail, right? Well, you can't shoot these people. They have kids with them. Well, then don't bring your kids. If you don't want to get shot, then don't bring your kids. It's really simple. You mean you'd shoot adults and deport the kids, right? Well, I'd shoot whoever.
Oh?
Yeah, I'd shoot whoever. I mean, if it's kids, women, men, anybody, just shoot them. They're going to stop coming over.
Excuse me?
Because if you don't do that, they'll use children and women as shields to get themselves over. And then they'll put more women and children at risk because they know that they can use them as collateral so they can get more of themselves over. That's the way it works. That's the way an animal thinks, and these people are animals. It's just the way it is. They're savages. Absolute savages. Hamas tactics, terrorists. Of course you don't want to do that. Doesn't mean you want to do it. But you have to do what you need to do in order to enforce your borders, man. Like, that's the way it is. People are too emotional to see that. Yeah, I mean, it's... You can't make decisions that way. And I understand the way that I talk about this might be a little bit extreme. It might be a little bit, unemotional. I wish we had more people like me.
Unhinged, maybe?
I do. I wish we had more, because we got too many p***s that are too worried about the optics of something rather than the reality of it.
So I'm not concerned with the optics. I'm not concerned that it would be a bad look to start shooting kids to stop an illegal border crossing surge. I'm concerned about the dead kids, actually, because that's psycho and evil. So it's not an issue of optics, Asmongold. I think his real name is Zach. It's an issue of human rights and morality. And of course, countries have every right to secure their border and to apprehend and detain people who are trying to enter illegally, but they don't have the right to just shoot on sight, really at anyone, but particularly at women and children. And you sound crazy. I mean, human beings have the right to not be extrajudicially executed, right, without being charged with a crime, without any sort of due process, simply because they are illegally crossing a border. That's not a death penalty offense. And there is absolutely no need to start shooting children to have a secure border. You can actually just apprehend them, right? You can arrest them. You can physically secure your border. You can have surveillance. You can have a law enforcement arrest and detain people. In fact, President Trump has done that here and very much secured our southern border without, in fact, shooting at kids on sight. It's like, I don't know if you're just trying to be a shock jock or if you actually somehow in a bizarre world think that's necessary or could remotely be justified, but it's a despicably callous and inhumane and utterly unnecessary thing to say or advocate for. Having a secure border does not require shooting children on sight. Again, Pew Research here from the Trump administration, after they took over the data for the first year, migrant encounters at the U.S.-Mexico border are at their lowest level in more than 50 years. So essentially, with enhanced border security and cracking down on the border, President Trump has been able to bring illegal immigration to a very, very low level. Obviously, you're never going to have zero. But notice, Asmongold, how he did that without shooting children. It's like, how could you actually say such a thing? As if these children, by the way, are somehow not innocent? Like, children, a 5-year-old being brought across a border illegally by a parent hasn't done anything wrong. Their parent is choosing to break a law or whatever, but it's not the kid's fault. And it's just crazy to me that you would so casually discard the lives of other human beings. Now, maybe this is just you rambling from your basement and you don't understand the real human lives that you're talking about here. And so it's easy to just be edgelord and be callous like this. But it's really not landing the way that you think it is. And I'm not surprised this led to a really severe backlash, because you're calling on people to be shot and killed, right? You're advocating for violence. That's not, in fact, okay. That is a bright red line. It is. And I'm sorry, but I always get really uncomfortable when you start describing human beings, in this case including women and children quite specifically, as animals. They're not animals. Illegal immigrants are human beings. Now, you can still have a secure border, you can still enforce your immigration laws, but you shouldn't be dehumanizing people or casually suggesting their execution on sight. That's actually unhinged, totally unnecessary, and not remotely justifiable from a moral lens. And I do believe, the same way I say this about Hassan Piker and leftists who go on their streams and call for violence in any form, it is reckless in our time of upheaval and chaos and political violence to be casually speaking about like this in a way that incites violence and calls for violence. That should be a red line. We can have extreme, offensive, and over-the-top debates and rhetoric and all that, but we can't be calling for other people to be killed. That's a bright red line. So frankly, I'm okay with Twitch banning him. I don't know if it's temporary. I don't know if it's permanent. It probably shouldn't be permanent, but yeah, you should have some sort of consequence when you call for violence or you call for people to be shot and killed. That's not okay. That is a red line to me, and platforms don't have to host literal incitement of violence. Obviously, it's a different question than criminally prosecuting this kind of speech, which you can't and shouldn't do, but there is a different standard. Now, the one thing that did frustrate me about the discourse after this, because Asmongold is a very popular figure, and that's fine, you can like his content, but I thought this rant was insane, and yes, does clearly violate the Twitch terms of service that don't allow you to call for violence. So I understand why he's banned, and I don't have an issue with it. But the people jumping to defend him really seem to totally mischaracterize what was happening here. Let's go through it. So here's one person. Asmon, you can't say you should shoot violent migrants that want to kill you. You are only allowed to encourage political assassinations, be racist against white people, say that America deserved 9/11, support terrorism, and say that people should kill landlords while abusing your dog. For F's sake, Asmon, we've been over this. Stop saying these terrible things. Now, this is clearly a call to Hassan Piker, which, two things here. Whether Hassan Piker hasn't been sufficiently punished for violating Twitch's terms of services or not, that is a hypocrisy or a double standard there. But the correct response to it would be to ban them both, not to let Asmongold get away with blatantly calling for children to be shot. Sorry, we don't in fact have to let him get away with that just because Hassan has gotten away with other stuff. Hassan should also be held accountable. But then the first thing, they kept doing this. They kept just kind of paraphrasing what Asmongold was saying, but totally changing it. So for example, quote, you can't say you should shoot violent migrants that want to kill you. Yeah, that's not what he said. You're totally caricaturing this whole thing. Asmongold said that you should shoot women and children on site who are crossing the border. That's what he said. He didn't say, violent people who are crossing the border and attack Border Patrol who try to apprehend them can be shot. I think most people would find that unfortunate and tragic, but ultimately understandable. That's not what he said. So you're totally engaging in bad faith with this discourse. The streamer Tectone did something similar. He wrote on X, "Reminder, Hassan Piker framed a newspaper about 9/11 and glorified it on his stream," to which said, "No problem. Asmongold said we need to protect our countries from illegal immigrants. Twitch indefinitely banned him. Twitch is a terrorist sympathizing platform. There is no other reason." So listen, should Twitch potentially have taken action against Hassan Piker for framing the photo from September 12th, the day after 9/11, of the newspaper behind him, and for his comments on that stuff? Yes, I agree with that. I think that's a fair point that, like, hey, there should be more consistency here, but that's not a defense of what Asmongold did. What he did was messed up, and I'm sorry, but you are being totally intellectually dishonest when you say all he said was, we need to protect our countries from illegal immigrants. Anybody can say that. That is not against the Twitch terms of service to say that we need to have secure borders, arrest illegal immigrants, send them back, all that kind of stuff. He said shoot kids on sight. That's not just protect our country. Give me a break. That's obviously not what he said. And you're not being honest. You're just totally lying or distorting the actual issue here. They have terms of service on Twitch that say you can't call for violence or glorify or support violence. He totally did that. So he got banned. If you disagree with that or you think Twitch is inconsistent, that's one thing. But don't sit here and tell us all he did was say, we need to stop illegal immigration. That is not true. And do not pee on my leg and tell me it's raining, folks. That annoys me more than anything. So listen, I think Asmongold is completely wrong for this take. I'm sympathetic to some of the complaints about inconsistent enforcement or double standards, but at the end of the day, I do think we should stand against this kind of rhetoric. It's totally unjustifiable on its merits. It's inflammatory, and it's dangerous in our current political climate to be constantly ratcheting things up like this and casually dehumanizing human beings and floating violent solutions to things. It's taking us to a scary place. And we all, as public commentators, need to hold ourselves to a higher standard than that. So I don't know what the exact right solution is or consequence for Asmongold. Obviously, he's an influential voice, and he's going to continue to be so, but he really should apologize for these remarks. And his defenders should at least be honest about what he said and not try to gaslight us. I don't know, guys. That's my take on this viral story about him being banned. Just clutching and going, what about Hassan? What about Hassan? Is not a defense of Asmongold. And really, there's no reason to defend such insane statements, which, again, don't even have anything to do with how immigration policy works. You can actually just apprehend people and have secure borders. The choice is not between. This is a total false dichotomy. People do this when they don't have a good argument. They set up a false dichotomy. You have to choose between one of these two things: shooting children on sight or allowing millions of people to hoard into your country illegally and just pour over your borders. That's not. The math is a math thing. You could actually just have a secure border and apprehend people. Countries have done it, and our country just recently found a way to do it without this kind of insane, drastic, inhumane rhetoric or measure. So, yeah, just to me, it's low information, shock jocking. It's dangerous rhetoric in this political climate. And yes, it does violate Twitch's community services. So I'm sorry, I don't feel bad that he got suspended, even if Twitch is inconsistent with this stuff. That's my take on the whole situation. You guys will have to let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure you're subscribed if you aren't yet. Do hit that like button. I consider becoming a channel member as well by hitting the join button or clicking the link in the pinned comment. It's the best way to support my content, and I call out the far left and the far right. I try to just be independent and honest. Unfortunately, that is not always the best business model. The best way to make millions of dollars and get millions of subscribers is just pander to one side, just totally carte blanche. I don't do that because I'm too opinionated and too honest for that. So I call it like I see it. I call balls and strikes. And that means I do need support from viewers like you. So consider becoming a channel member if you can. And with that, guys, we'll leave it there for this one and be back with more real soon.